Okay, guys, here is the time of the day show, Anthem Lights, where we talk about questions that people have asked.
Do what now?
The day show. Question day.
That was a lot.
AKA, Ask Them Lights.
Ask them lights.
Ask Them Lights. I haven't warmed up. Don't judge me.
No, it's you. We're better together, better together, better together. Gonna love you all my life.
What up, guys?
What up? It's
What
the
up?
podcast.
It's the Anthem Lights.
It's the Anthem
Lights
Lights
Yes.
You're supposed to sing something.
Anthem Lights.
There it is. That was the most soulful one.
I was gonna try to let that one go, but
Oh, no, we can't. Well, this is podcast number 10.
Number 10.
Yes, we've hit double
You know-
digits.
Double digits.
I can't believe it. We're here.
the Roman
Done 10 this
I
year.
can't remember 10 in Spanish.
Des.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10.
This.
Yeah, that's
It's
it.
It's almost like
Zane.
someone just said
It's
that.
Zane in German.
What's up, everybody? How's everyone doing?
We're doing good. This is Caleb. I'm Spencer. That's Chad.
What's up?
That's Joey. And we
And
are
we're
so
Anthem
excited
Lights.
to be doing a podcast for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, depending on where you're from, YouTube, Facebook, the podcast app. Thank you so much for clicking on our podcast to listen or watch. So, yeah.
Do people live on Facebook and stuff? Depending on where you're from, Facebook, YouTube.
1,000 Facebook lane.
That's a cool
Dude,
address.
Facebook is going to create a smart city at some point.
That would be so cool.
Yeah, I would live there.
You'd be living in your social
And
network.
then Snapchat has the neighborhood across the street. Nobody lives there.
How's there not been a movie about this yet?
It's called Wreck-It Ralph, the new one. Breaks the internet.
I was going to say the video game movie. What's it called?
Ready Player One.
Ready Player One.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's
This is
going
more.
on, guys? What do we got going on?
Let's
We'll
have
save
a
that for
podcast,
Geek Out.
eh?
Save that for Geek Out. So, what's new with Anthem Lights? We just released a Christmas album a few weeks ago
We did.
called Christmas Hymns.
Ooh.
Why did we name it Christmas Hymns, Chad?
Well, you know, we spent a while trying to figure out the name of this album, you know,
Many hours.
and it's just like we had a Hymns album 1, volume 1, we had a Hymns album volume 2, and so yeah, we did Hymns Christmas because we're really smart and really creative.
This is Christmas Hymns Volume 1.
Christmas
Hymns
Hymns
There
volume
will definitely
1.
be several more volumes.
Are there more hymns, Christmas hymns out there?
Sure there are.
All right.
There's always more hymns.
They're creating them every day, right?
I've thought we've been out of hymns like 7 times. After our first hymns medley, I was like, there's no more hymns we can sing.
Well, that's the thing about hymns. They're always writing new ones.
I just made that joke. You just followed my joke.
You did?
It's cool.
So anyway, Christmas Hymns album is out. One of the coolest things that's ever happened in my musical career happened on that album. Caleb, tell them what it is. You know what it is.
Yeah. This was cool.
I got it. We did a song with the one and only Amy Grant.
Ooh.
So cool.
Amy Grant, y'all. She's a legend.
I grew up listening to her Christmas albums, and I still do. Like every year, that's one of my playlists is her Christmas album. So that was really
I
cool.
went to Guitar Center to pick up some stuff, and the person I was working with, his office had like this picture with like Garth Brooks and Tim McGraw and all these massive like country artists, and then Amy Grant was also in the pictures in this like one whole plaque, and I was just like, it just didn't click how much of an impact she's had on the industry, and so it was really an honor to
She's an
do
icon.
something with her.
Yeah, she's a legend, and it was really cool getting to work with her because she was so wise. Like, I feel like just the way she carried herself and everything she said was so, like, intentional, and, like, she just said such great things. I loved
She's
just
super,
being around
super
her.
sweet too.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was incredibly kind to us. So
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
thanks, Amy, for being a part of. I'm
Thank
sure you're not
you.
listening.
I was about to say, I'm sure you're not listening. So.
Just on the odd chance that you do, thank you, Amy.
Yes.
We also just finished our last show of the year this past week. Where did we play? South Carolina. Somewhere in South
Yep,
Carolina.
Anderson.
Anderson. That's
Yep.
cool. I think of Clemson, and I'm like, oh, where is that? And so, yeah, anyways. We played in Anderson, South Carolina, and it was probably our best show of the year.
It really was. It was so
It was a
fun.
really fun crowd.
Actually, a couple Clemson football players were there.
Mhm.
That was pretty cool.
yeah. Me
and-
being a big FSU fan, you being a big Notre Dame fan, about to play them.
Yeah, it was.
It was hard to be nice to them, but, I sucked
No,
it
they were
up.
really sweet.
So
They
we
were really
didn't
sweet
speak to
though.
them.
So that was
Put a bow on 2018 with that
put
show.
a
It was great.
bow.
It was a really great way to leave off because we've played some terrible shows, right?
We have
Like, we've played weird shows, and also we've played shows that we've just not played well. We've been bad.
Mm-hmm.
And so if that would have been a bad show, we would have gone into 2019 like, do we ever want to play that show? But I feel like it was just good enough
Yeah.
that we're going to continue playing shows a
Here's-
while longer.
Here's the thing about us when we play shows, because we do so many different types of music that draws completely different audiences. Like, there'll be sections of our show. So on our show, we try to incorporate all of them and have their sections for all of them. And so sometimes we have shows where it's like the crowd is like 95% there for like our hymns. And so then we come out with our heavy track pop stuff and they're like, what is happening? Or it could be the opposite, And so for us, sometimes it's a whiff because you are playing most of the show to stuff that they weren't there to see, and it's awkward.
We had a couple shows here towards the end of the year with some people literally plugging their ears because our music was too loud for what they were expecting. They were expecting just pianos and our hymns, and then we come out with a bass and drums and a guitar. Yeah, they're plugging their ears. It was funny. Anyway,
We're a weird band.
We're a
Yeah,
weird
we
band.
do a lot.
We do weird
Sometimes
things.
that happens. We have our best of 2018 medley coming to you soon this week.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually already up online.
Yeah,
Video
It's up
will
on
be out.
Spotify, but the video is coming out this week.
That's
Yeah.
true. It's our tradition.
It is tradition.
Go down to the river and shoot the
Day after
Best of the Year
Christmas,
video.
same
Chad
location.
put up a good little montage of all of our best of the year covers
Yeah,
recently.
and
So check that out on our socials because
it's crazy how much we have changed. Like, we look
Yeah.
like babies in the early ones, 2012.
My hair was like electrocuted.
And then we have a Switchfoot mashup coming out on New Year's Eve.
That one.
Why did we do that
we
one?
did
as
that
a-
one
as a
because
medley?
I love Switchfoot. Specifically, these Switchfoot songs that we covered.
Yes.
And you guys did a show with them on
Yeah.
New Year's, right? That's
It was-
kind of
And one of the
another
best
motivational-
New Year's Eve moments I've ever had.
You want to tell the story?
Sure. Like, we were sitting in the Vine Center at Liberty University. We played a New Year's Eve show with them, and they rang in the new year where right as the countdown was hitting 1, they came in with "I dare you to move," and it was just like, confetti, and it was just the most inspirational like moment, and it was pretty awesome. So we were like, we got to do a mashup with that song for New Year's Eve.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
I love Switchfoot. I was a huge Switchfoot fan in high school. Totally geeked out over them. Speaking of geeking out,
Hey!
Oh, nice transition.
it's that time for Hit Me Chad. Geek out! Boom.
There it is.
What are we geeking out about, boys? Joey, what are you into?
Yeah. I just got a puppy.
Hey.
Geeking out over this puppy. Also, not geeking out over the puppy when she pees on stuff. But when she's not peeing on stuff, geeking out over the puppy. She's the cutest, smallest, little, tiniest thing. Her name is Kona. She's adorable.
Kona.
What kind of dog?
She's a toy Australian Shepherd.
She weighs nothing. She's air.
She weighs 3 pounds. She might be like 3.5 now. She's like this big. Literally, you could just hold her in a hand. There she is.
She won't
That's
stay
awesome.
still when you do that, but
No, she won't. She'll jump. She doesn't really know how things work. Like she will stand on your shoulders and just try and jump off.
She doesn't understand the world.
you gotta let her
yet.
learn the
Yeah.
hard way, bro. Just kidding. Don't do that. I'm just
That's
kidding.
a harsh
I'm kidding.
way.
It's a joke.
So anyway, that also video games a little bit.
Very nice.
I go through phases where I don't play any video games, and then I will get into a video game, and I'll just be like, I'm a video game guy.
What platform right now?
PlayStation.
PS4. We're all PS4,
PS4.
guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I switched from Xbox to PS4 because you guys were all in a Madden for like a minute, And so I switched so I could play you guys online, and then you all were done. And I was like, oh, fine. I'll just stick with Madden for the rest of my life.
You know, my dog won't let me play PS4 though. So my 2 geek outs don't go together. Because I'll sit there and she'll just like come over and start nipping at the controller. I'm like, this is important.
You gotta get rid of one. So
My dog,
buy PlayStation.
my lab hates when I play Madden. Like, if I get upset, he's just like, what's wrong? What's going on? So
Well, that's a really
dogs don't
sweet
like it very
dog.
much.
Well, dogs don't understand that it's not a real thing that you're mad about.
I know. They're just like, what's happening? Anyways.
Dogs and Chad don't understand it. It's not a real thing.
Wait, it's not? I'm just kidding. Since our geek outs are kind of turning into not actually a geek thing, I think all I could think of for the past month has been I've been in transition of selling my house and purchasing a new one, and no one tells you how stressful that is. And I mean, people do, but you know, it's one of those things you just have to do for yourself. And so my month has been just like nothing but trying to get my house ready for showings and looking at houses, and it's been exhausting. That's my geek out.
I think you're
because
supposed
it's
to
the
talk
only
about
thing.
something you're excited about.
Well, I'm
That sounds
excited.
pretty
It's
It's not
exciting.
geeky at all. That's like
That's
the opposite
exciting.
of geeky.
Well, that's what I said. These things
You're
have kind
buying
of
a
turned
house,
into.
that's super cool.
I don't know.
What's
Is Joey's
Are you
geek out?
thinking of freak out? Like, I'm freaking out about selling my house.
Is-
Geeking out is like, I'm so geeked out I get a new house. But
Oh,
I
I
didn't get any of that.
I get the correlation.
Not getting the geekiness.
So you have to at least be excited about it. But I am
No
excited
geek out.
about it. I mean, obviously we wouldn't be doing it if we weren't excited about the move. So yeah,
Yeah,
it works.
that's fair.
It applies.
Okay.
Spencer.
Chad's geeking out over
Geeking out.
over cleaning his house.
Okay. I'm geeking out over a couple things. Saw the new cartoon Spider-Man yesterday. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And it artistically just made me so excited. And I loved every minute of it. All the camera angles, all the editing, the way they made it look like a comic book. I'm obviously a huge Spider-Man guy because I, for 4 podcasts straight, talked about Spider-Man PS4. So the movie was just, it was everything I wanted it to be. The soundtrack was amazing. I'm like listening to the soundtrack to the album, so
That sounds so cool.
or to the movie. So I loved that. I'm also geeking out. I ended up getting myself some studio gear, and so I'm geeking out over the fact that I'm finally able to do something I've been wanting to do for a long, long time, which is track myself and record my own stuff at the house. Even though I won't be like mixing it and putting it out, I'll still send it off to people to do that. I still love the ability to be able to do that at home and be able to get something artistically created in the moment instead of being like, okay, now I need a book studio space, not forget this moment, not forget what I'm thinking about right now. I can just sit down and do it. And I'm geeking out over it because it sounds really good and I'm excited about it. So
That's awesome, man.
yeah.
So it's the holidays. It's that season. I'm super into football, like all the way from Madden to fantasy football to our pick'em. We have a pick'em league with the guys to, bowl games and NFL. And I'm just super into it. So I love it. I love
That's
this time of
awesome.
year, and I'm gonna be sad when it's over.
You mentioned that I'm going to the Notre Dame game, geeking out about that. It hasn't obviously happened yet. That'll be later this month, but I'm geeking out about being able to go to that. So
Is that what you want for Christmas? A Notre Dame championship?
I want a Notre Dame ring championship.
Are you gonna buy like?
No,
He's gonna buy a legit
I'm gonna
one.
try and buy the jersey when I go to the game, and then just let that be the thing. But I would lose it if we end up beating Oklahoma or Bama in the championship.
Ooh, that would be crazy.
That would
That'd
not
be
be
fun.
crazy.
No, you wouldn't.
First, you have to beat Clemson.
I know we have to beat Clemson,
Forget.
but in order to want the championship, that means that we have beaten Clemson.
You're looking ahead. Clemson players aren't looking ahead. They're looking at Clemson.
Okay.
You're looking ahead, bro.
There we go.
Okay, so yeah, that's a good segue. This is our last podcast before the Christmas break, so let's talk about Christmas for a second.
Mm-hmm.
I hate Christmas.
Oh, here we go.
Joey. You can just step out for a
Scrooge
minute.
is back.
I'm just kidding, but some kid literally came through the signing line at one of our last shows. I guess he listens to our podcast. I didn't get a chance to ask him because all he said to me is, "Why do you hate Christmas?" And then he just kept walking.
I love how he just called you out.
Didn't give me a chance to respond. It's like, I don't hate Christmas. Wait, I don't hate Christmas. He was gone.
I love
He
it.
was the ghost of Christmas past.
He was.
What do I want for Christmas? Okay, well, I'm getting old, guys. So I've been struggling to.
Coughing. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Scrooge. You can never be too prepared.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry. That was dark.
That was dark.
We'll edit that out for sure.
No.
Please,
it's
please, guys.
staying in there. It's staying in
edit it
there.
out.
I'm not getting that old, but where I was headed with that is it's been tough for me the last few years to like get into the Christmas spirit. So what I want for Christmas is just to like turn everything off. Like turn off my job, turn off my phone, and just like hang out with my kids. And like this is the first year I get to watch Emmett like open presents, which is cool. It's been fun to like shop for him. And so yeah, I'm just excited to just turn it all off and just like start over in January.
That's cool.
Chad, what do you want for Christmas?
What I want for Christmas or my Christmas plans? Guess same thing.
What do you want for Christmas?
He's like, I've been really stressed out about my house.
I just follow the teleprompter.
It's like I really want a good interest rate
Yeah.
for my house.
Really though, like I mean, this has been a weird Christmas because of the house stuff, and so it's been hard to think about Christmas. In fact, it was like yesterday. I was like, I guess I better think about what I'm going to get my wife. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm going to my hometown in Florida, so I'll be in the warm weather on the beach for Christmas, which is going to be much needed. Can't wait.
Nice, man.
But yeah, I mean, we're just kind of giving each other house stuff for Christmas, I think. So that's where I'm at.
So what do I want for Christmas? Caleb, I think you totally nailed it. The idea of being able to go be with family and not feel the pressure to be productive in every single moment and just enjoy time with people that I love, you know? That's all I really want, man.
That's great, man.
And for my puppy to stop pooping on the floor. Those two things, though, that's all I ask.
I want my dog to stop pooping and peeing.
Just
will.
all
Just
together.
totally.
Just never poop and pee.
And
No.
eating. Let's just throw that in there too.
No, I feel that. Along with wanting Notre Dame to win the championship, I think I want to feel relaxed, like you guys are saying, just feel de-stressed from things, and just kind of like really enjoy not having any obligations.
I think that I'm going to be able to succeed in that this year. I've got a good feeling about being able to turn off the stress.
That's good.
So,
Good for you, man.
yeah.
That's good.
Got some holiday yoga exercises.
I've just been practicing. I've been doing the yogas, doing all the yogas, and just ready to relax.
That's cool. So what are the plans? Where are you going?
Well, I'm going. Jewel and I are going to Minnesota tomorrow, which I don't know when this is going to come out, so I'm probably in Minnesota right now. We're going to Minnesota to hang out with her family for Christmas Eve. That's when they have their Christmas thing. And then Christmas Day, we're going to fly to Phoenix, Arizona and hang out with my family. And we're going to stay there a whole week. So we'll be there for the new year, and then we'll come home.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, what about you guys?
Chad, you said you're going to Florida?
Beach?
Yeah, we're
Beach
good. You were the last one.
No?
We didn't talk about plans. We just talked about what we wanted. What are you doing for the holidays?
I'm going to North Carolina with Brooke, with her family, and then yeah, that's all we're doing actually. My parents came to town a week before we left. I don't know when this is going up, so they're in town right now. But my parents.
Tuesday, people.
Where are you right now?
Where am I? Yeah, my parents came to town, and we're just hanging out. Had Christmas here with my family, with my parents, and then we're going to her family's for Christmas Day and New Year's and all that.
Nice.
So.
And I have kids, so I'm staying here. So I'm
Lucky.
actually in Nashville.
Kidding.
So yeah. Sweet.
That's
Merry
awesome.
Christmas, boys.
Thank
Merry
you.
Christmas,
you.
boys.
And Merry Christmas to you and to all good. Never mind.
And Amy, if you're watching this, Merry Christmas. She's still not watching. If she was watching, she's definitely not watching.
She's definitely not now.
Let's talk about New Year's.
Oh yes, New Year's.
What are you guys excited about? 2019. Are you there yet? Are you mentally in 2019?
I'm excited for a fresh list of goals. It's kind of like I'm ready to refresh that. Kind of hit a reset. It's good psychologically for me to just sort of, start over.
I'm always excited to get through the terrible eating that the holidays bring, and get through
You know,
that.
that's a choice.
Sort of. When you go to family and you know, you don't want to buy your own food. You eat what they give you. And so, you know, it's just,
And there's just always like Christmas cookies and
there's just
candy
stuff
and-
everywhere.
yeah,
And I just
tough.
give up on trying. Ruins Christmas if I try.
Christmas is the worst.
Wow, guys.
Oh, well.
Humbug.
Hey, don't be a Joey.
Hold on. I don't think that's a Joey. Scrooge. Don't be a Scrooge. Anyway, we're talking about New Year's, aren't we?
So anyway, what are you excited about, Spence?
I'm excited about a few different music projects that I think are going to come to fruition in the new year, and getting better at my studio thing. I think that's going to be my thing. I'm really going to focus on in 2019 is becoming better as a at least producing my own vocals and then getting really good at that. So that's what I'm excited about. And then probably going to make 2019 a year where I really try and focus on getting in shape and staying in shape and committing to that. I feel like I start the years out pretty good and then I'll drop off and then I'll have like a random 2-month spurt in the middle of the year where I'm doing something and then I just stop again. I want to try and be really committed this 2019 to being in the gym or doing something physical every week. So
That's great. Good
that's
for you.
it.
Nice, dude. So 2018 for me, it was a great year.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also, I feel like I realized about halfway through the year that there were some ways that I could really improve. I don't have no idea how to say this. Basically, just mental hygiene is how I think of it. Because, you know, hygiene, like you brush your teeth every day. You're supposed to floss. No one does, but you're supposed to. And you shower, and you just take care of your hygiene. And I think that I realized about halfway through 2018 that I needed to do that for my mind as well. And so I got really depressed and anxious toward after halfway through the year and the months after that. But it took me to this place where I was spending a lot of time taking care of my mind and setting time aside just to be quiet and figure out that part of my life. And I've learned so much about myself and how I function. I'm just super pumped to go into 2019 feeling like I know myself in a way that I have never before.
That's awesome.
I'm excited to see what's different
I
with
love it.
that as a big part of my life. So
That's great, man.
I'm thinking
That's
about
really cool.
Okay, guys, here is the time of the day show, Anthem Lights, where we talk about questions that people have asked.
Do what now?
The day show. Question day.
That was a lot.
AKA, Ask Them Lights.
Ask them lights.
Ask Them Lights. I haven't warmed up. Don't judge me. So these are questions that people have sent in to our email address. If you have any questions you want to ask for future podcasts, just send an email to anthemlights@gmail.com. In the subject line, put Ask Them Lights, and we will maybe answer it.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Anyway, let's get started. Okay,
right.
this first question.
Let's get started.
The game show host all of a sudden. Come on down. Stop, Joey, stop. This first question is from Harmony Morgan from Iowa. What's up, Harmony?
Hey,
How you doing? Harmony wants to know.
We blew that opportunity.
I haven't warmed up. Still have not warmed up.
Get it? Her name is Harmony.
Harmony wants to know. Starting off deep. Who is someone close to you that has passed away, and how did you deal with that?
Well, I'll just say I have been immensely blessed in that I haven't really had to lose anyone that I was deeply close to. I did lose a couple of grandparents who I didn't get the opportunity to be as close to them as I would have liked. So that was sad, but I haven't lost anyone. So I feel like I've been really blessed so far. So that's all I can throw into the hat.
Yeah.
I lost a grandpa I was pretty close to when I was around 16 years old. It was my mom's father, and he passed away to some heart conditions and health conditions overall, and had diabetes and stuff. And it was one of those things where it was pretty tough because we were close, and I'd always, he had routines, like I knew going to my grandparents' place, it was going to be grandpa in this kind of setting. And so, as he passed, I think it's helpful in those moments to mourn and to allow yourself to feel emotions and allow yourself to cry and take your time that you need to take with that. But it's also great to just, surround yourself with people who also were with and connected to that person and just have memories and talk about like good times, talk about funny things, talk about things that can lighten your spirits in that moment. And not being alone. I think surrounding yourself with healthy, loving people is the healthiest thing you can do in those moments. And that was for me. It was spending time with my grandma, spending time with my family, and all just kind of coming together closer as a unit in those times. So that's my input.
Yeah, same. Where I have been fortunate to not have anyone super close to me pass. I can't imagine the reality of that happening for those that have had that kind of thing happen. I've had a grandpa pass that I was really close with. I know that looking forward, like looking back, that I like always regret not, spending more time with him and making more calls to him, because I was in college the few years before he died, and not taking the time to call and just say hi and all that stuff. So I think, the lesson is just, sadly, the reality is it could happen to anybody close to you at any point. And so it's just make sure that they know that, that you love them and that they're loved, and that's all you can do.
Yeah, my grandmother passed away earlier this year, and we were super close. My whole life until I moved to Nashville and joined this band, I lived across the street from them, literally from the time I was born, which is really such a blessing to be able to be so close and spend so much time with my grandparents. Quick note, if you do have your grandparents around still, definitely call them and take advantage of that. Like Chad said, it's part of life is death and dealing with that, but part of most people have to lose their grandparents, and it's hard, and it's just such a well of knowledge that you can pull from, and they would love to answer any questions and tell any stories at any moment you would want to call them. So it's a quick side note to talk to your grandparents. They're the coolest, I promise. And but yeah, it was super, super hard. So how did I deal with it? How am I dealing with it? Spencer nailed it. Just getting together with family and telling stories and, allowing them to live on through memory and through our conversation. And, I still talk to my grandma every day. I'll just say something. I don't know. I don't think that she's like following me around in ghost form or anything, but it kind of helps me cope and help me feel like she's still with me. And I just like to think about the way that I'm different because I knew her, and the way that everyone in her life is different, and the impact that she has made on the world. And if you think about those things, it gets a little easier to kind of process. But it's hard. And Harmony, if you have lost someone, I'm deeply sorry. So, but great question. It's important stuff to talk about. Next question. This is from Grace from Nigeria. What's up, Grace?
What up,
from Nigeria?
Grace.
I'm Joey from Nashville. What would you like to be remembered for? What do you want your legacy to be? Great question.
I want to be known as the greatest NBA basketball player of all time.
Man, you're going to disappoint.
You're a little behind. That's a good question. You kind of re-asked this question. At least I had to re-ask questions like this when you have kids, because it totally changes. I just want to be remembered just as a good father and husband, and someone who was committed to his family and just always there. Someone who was loving, someone who was generous, someone who was always there to listen and hopefully give sound advice and to be understanding. Yeah, outside of that, nothing really else matters.
Yeah.
Not even being the greatest NBA basketball Spencer
No, that doesn't
of
matter.
all time. Just kidding.
Just kidding.
JK.
Yeah, I kind of had the same answer as Caleb, minus the, obviously I don't have kids yet, but I would like to be a dad one day. And I echo really everything Caleb said. That I just like to, I would like to leave a legacy of being generous and a good dad and a good friend and a good husband. And just somebody that that could be counted on, through anything. So.
Yeah, it's good stuff, guys. What they said. I want to be remembered as a person who displays an enormous amount of empathy for everybody and compassion for every single person that I come in contact with. And just, I think it's good to think about this stuff, because if you can kind of write down those thoughts and get them out of your head, then that can help you live better, Like if I know that I want to be remembered for displaying compassion toward everybody, if somebody is bugging me, like some random person that I don't want to talk to, but I know that's who I want to be, it totally changes the way I would approach that moment. But.
I think the answer is pretty much very similar for all of us. But I think also to go along with that, I feel like I want to be remembered as somebody who definitely took advantage and made the most of any kind of opportunity that came my way. I have a decent amount of FOMO and fear of missing out on things, and so if I know that there are things I could have done better to have had better experiences for my family, had better experiences for myself, or impacting people around me, then that'd be tough to swallow. So I want to just make the most of every moment and let that be seen and known. So
that's cool.
That's good stuff. Great question. Again, Grace from Nigeria. One more question from Christine from Canada.
Say it weirder.
Christina. Okay, my bad. Christina from
You're
Canada.
crushing us.
Canada.
Wow. What is your favorite holiday?
Someone else take
What
over.
is your
Yeah, I
favorite
can't talk
holiday recipe? I feel like that's a question for our wives.
Does this? Do we need to
Wow.
list out all the ingredients and?
Do you have an answer?
I mean, kind of, yeah.
You know what recipe means, right?
Yes.
Oh, go. You start.
I don't have an specific recipe, but I have the things that go into making something.
I think you're overanalyzing the use of the word recipe here, Chad. What do you like to eat the most at holiday time?
Well, that's a different question. The word was recipe.
Oh my goodness.
Guys.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a pretty loose recipe.
Anthem Lights recipe book, 2019.
My
coming at you.
family and I would make monkey bread morning
Monkey
of Christmas. And it's taking Pillsbury
good.
rolls,
Does it throw its feces?
either croissant rolls or regular other rolls, and you ball them up, and there's like these bun cake containers that you fill, and then you get icing and cinnamon and pretty much just like drench the whole thing, bake it, and then pull it out and you pop it on
It's
a
like sticky.
yeah, it's
gooey.
sticky.
Yeah.
They're like little like sections. It's like, I don't know how, it's like little balls of cake all stuck together, and it's cinnamon and iced all over, and it's amazing. And we
That
would
sounds
typically
incredible.
carve out a little piece, put a little light in it, sing happy birthday to Jesus, and open presents.
Wow.
Holiday recipe, Chad.
That's pretty spectacular. So my mom makes a vegan lasagna. She doesn't make it every holiday, but I'm hoping that she watches this and takes note and makes it this Christmas, because it's my favorite thing. I don't know everything that's in there. It's like lentils. Instead of meat in the saucy part, it's lentils. And,
Dude, that's really good.
yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
it's just, it's so good.
Cool.
Yeah.
My mom makes these apricot crescent rolls.
Oh
They're like
my
just like the
gosh.
Pillsbury crescent rolls,
Oh
but
my
with
gosh.
like apricot jam and like little like chopped up nuts.
Oh,
and,
that sounds like
powdered
my
sugar.
jam.
It's so good.
Are
Anyways.
crescent rolls different than croissant rolls? Or are we just saying a word differently?
I think they're different.
I think they're different too.
Are apricots different than apricots?
I think crescent rolls are just smaller, correct? And then croissants are like bigger ordeal.
I think crescent rolls are just like rolled in a crescent. Is that a thing?
No, that makes sense.
What
And a
is
croissant is
croissant
actually,
French
like,
for crescent? Probably not.
I don't know.
Oh, maybe
Good
that
question.
would make
I doubt it.
sense.
I'm gonna Google it.
We're googling it. Difference between croissant
on.
and crescent.
Carry on, boys.
Yeah, my favorite thing my wife has made for the past few years, these like, I don't know the name exactly. She's gonna be mad at me because I don't. But they're like these chocolate saltine cracker things that she makes that are just like crack. Like, I mean,
Wow.
you don't understand. Like, I spend when she makes them only around this time of year, and when we have them in our house, like I feel like my entire day at the house is not like telling myself, "Don't eat them, don't eat them, don't eat them," because as soon as I open that bag, it's just like I
Game
can
over.
kill those things. They're the worst.
And how do you make them?
I have no
What's
idea.
the recipe,
I
Chad?
can't even tell you.
How
What
do
that
you-
is.
how do
That's
you-
what I was saying.
How many
when we-
teaspoons of sugar?
That's what I was saying when we started this. Was like, I don't know how to answer that. I don't. It's a wife question. Anyway.
Guys, croissant is French for crescent.
Hey, very nice. So there is no difference.
Thank you to our producer, research
So
department.
crescent, what is crescent? Where does that come
Just
from?
Americanized version of saying a croissant roll.
Right, but what's a crescent?
A moon crescent.
The crescent is the shape, right?
Right.
So you roll it up, like, is that the dough is cut out in a crescent? and
Yeah,
then
it's
you
like
roll
that
it up?
half. It's like the circle, but it's like not a half circle. It's like a U. It's like a smile.
We're going
Your
all
smile is-
in
is a
on
crescent.
croissants right now.
So you roll them up. And that's a crescent roll.
Yes,
You guys
but
are making me
the
want
crescent
one so
roll
bad.
is the end shape.
I'm starving.
All I can
You know
see is the
crescent moons,
Pillsbury
like in the
Doughboy.
moon phases.
No, the crescent
Doughboy.
is the big. Oh, you're saying the crescent is
Is
what it
the-
looks like after it's rolled up?
Yes, is what it's what after it rolls up. Because then it's
Now
like
I'm
you have
tracking.
crescent moons. It's like when you only see like the left.
Croissant.
Croissant.
There's a croissant moon.
When your eye hits the sky like. Okay.
There we go.
Well,
Well, I think
we did that.
that's it for podcast number 10.
Number 10.
Great questions.
Last one of the
We
year.
got deep. We had fun with this whole entire podcast. It's the last one of 2018.
We did 10 whole podcasts.
10 whole podcasts.
Maybe next
this
year we'll do 11.
Working hard, boys.
No, so like we always say, make sure you send your questions in to anthemlights@gmail.com. And because this is the last one of the year, not only do you send your questions in for Ask Them Lights, but we also want to know what you might think would be fun for us to add to our podcast. Is that if that's guests or different type of sections that we can be like, having as a debate or whatever that is. You listen to a bunch of other podcasts, send in your recommendations because we want to give you guys something new and refreshed for 2019. So it's not just same old, and maybe the next 10 will be full of variety. So
Yeah.
make sure you send those in to that same email, anthemlights@gmail.com. What did we learn today?
Obviously. I learned that I learned that croissant is French for crescent.
Wow.
And that's where the name for the roll comes from. The
Okay.
pastry that we all
And I
know
learned
love.
that the crescent, it's called a crescent roll because that's what the final product of the roll looks like.
Yes.
And also that Chad thinks only women should cook.
Yes, thank you for catching that.
That's not true at all. I cook more than any of you combined. Boom.
Oh, I
Next.
would beg
Lies.
to differ. Definitely beg to
Lies.
differ.
All right. We'll do this later.
Cook off. Go.
What did you learn today, Chad?
I learned that Caleb's still a dad. Spencer has Spider-Man in his Geek Out every episode. And Joe is still Scrooge.
We could have kept it at just one thing.
Also, just confirming that things are still true, not learning.
Yeah, that's no new information.
I'm learning that it's consistent. New information for me.
Fair. That's fair.
I learned that
It's like a kid in class.
I don't know.
And
I
Spencer,
mean,
what did we learn today?
I learned that
Oh my goodness, Spencer,
man,
you're choking.
you guys took
You're
all the
literally
good
choking
things
right
there
now.
at the end there. I mean, the
There at
the
the end
front
there,
half
right
of
there.
our podcast is like telling them things that are happening that they get to learn. Favorite. Oh, I learned that Joey likes vegan lasagna as well, because Brooks' family made a vegan lasagna a couple
High
years
quality entertainment.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas,
Hey,
everybody.
wait! Social medias. Give us social medias
At Caleb Grimm.
at Spencer Kane Music. At I am Spencer Kane.
At Chad M. Graham.
At joeyscroogestamper.com.
Joey the Scrooge at AOL.com.
And you can find our band's social media at Anthem Lights Band or at Anthem Lights. Make sure you guys go check it out. See you next time, next year, 2019. This has been the Anthem Lights Podcast.
The Anthem Lights Show. Bye.